Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Chrome Soft Golf Ball from Callaway.
Hello, I'm Kira K. Dixon, and this is your Golf Central update. The first round of the ZOZO Championship is in the books in Japan, and your leader after 18 holes is Collin Morikawa. Morikawa with a clean scorecard, a 6 under 70, shot 31 on the front nine. This will be the 6th time in his career that Morikawa has an 18-hole lead. Here's Collin after his impressive first round.
Yeah, look, taking a few weeks off, you never know what you're going to get. But I've been kind of working on a few things, just trying to get control of the golf ball. Spent a lot of time putting yesterday, so it was nice just to kind of see the work I've put in, just kind of, recreate that on the golf course. Obviously, you never know how it's going to be, but it was a fun round today.
You mentioned in your press conference that the fairways would be firmer this week. Was that the case? You said you might see some different tee shots. I think you only missed 2 fairways. How was your driver?
Definitely felt like I missed more. But no, yeah, I mean, some holes played a lot shorter with the wind direction and the firmer fairways. So you got hole 11, I think I only had 8 iron in the practice rounds. I was hitting 5 iron. So just having a little bit more roll, tournament speed. It's nice when, certain holes that you consider to be essentially par holes, you're able to give yourself a birdie opportunity, really.
Obviously have a pretty popular group. How were the fans today?
Oh, they're awesome. Our group played pretty well. We had a bunch of birdies throughout the 3 of us, so it was kind of nice to just see that and see their excitement and have some cheers kind of, extend throughout the entire round.
2 quick questions. One, how big would it be to break through in Japan for you after a year where you haven't won, or more than a year? How would that feel?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's obviously a little bit more meaning to this tournament for me, but look, a win's a win. I'll take a win anywhere, right? So I'm doing everything I can the next 3 days and kind of tonight to make sure I give myself the best opportunity to do that.
For those of us who don't know you or people in Japan, give us your family background exactly, where the Japanese part comes from, where the non-Japanese, just a little background.
Yeah.
Immigration.
Yeah, no, I'm half Japanese, and so my dad's side is the Japanese side, and to be honest, I think my great-grandparents came over from Japan and moved to Hawaii, so moved to the U.S. fairly early. So we've been in the U.S. for quite some time. I was talking to my wife yesterday. I actually don't know if I have any relatives out here, or if I still do. I'm sure there's someone out there that I just don't know of, but for the most part, we've kind of been all in the U.S. between Hawaii and California, and that's been my Japanese heritage.
And the Chinese side, what do you know about that?
My grandparents on my mom's side moved from Hong Kong pretty early on, I think, when they were young. So my mom also grew up in Los Angeles, and there's the 2 halves.
Sort of typical American immigration story, right? I mean, you're like the.
I mean, yeah, we've been in the U.S. for quite some time, but it's been nice, ever since 2019 when we've kind of been able to travel over here and play golf, to just learn a little bit more and kind of reconnect with the culture and essentially my history.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, the highest-ranked player in the field this week is Xander Schauffele. Solid start for him, 3 back of the lead. Just 1 bogey on his way to a first-round 67. Of course, Schauffele played at the Ryder Cup a few weeks ago in Rome, but this is his first PGA Tour start since the Tour Championship in August. Here's what Xander had to say after his opening round.
Pretty happy. It got a little windy through certain parts of the round, and I wasn't able to hit the times I hit the fairway. I wasn't able to sort of capitalize on a good wedge shot, so probably going to go try and clean that up right now.
How's the game feeling first time back in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, pretty solid. I'm happy with how I'm driving it. I'm happy with how I'm rolling it. Just need to tighten up some of the dispersion from the fairway. And with the greens being soft, you feel like you can be really aggressive. So just need to clean that up.
Yeah, I hate to ask you the question again, but clarify your Japanese roots, both sides of the family. You're the guy with the least Japanese name with the most Japaneseness.
Yeah, my grandparents came over from Taiwan in the 60s. They immigrated. And
so which side?
My mom's side. And then my brother was born in Stuttgart but grew up in Tokyo. And then my parents lived here in Tokyo for quite some time. So when my brother went back to the States, he could barely speak English. And then my wife is half Japanese. And she grew up in Okinawa, so I just have a lot of family ties here.
How's your Japanese?
I need a lot of help. I mean, the more time I spend here, I pick up on phrases, and whenever my parents didn't want me to understand anything, they spoke in Japanese. So it's been it's been around me my whole life.
So Collin Morikawa is your day one leader, but it is a bunched leaderboard. 5 players are just 1 shot behind Morikawa, including Robbie Shelton, who is trying to improve his standing in the FedEx Cup fall standings, entered the week at 93rd. Spots 51 through 60 will gain entry into the first 2 Signature Series events in 2024 following the Century. Now on the PGA Tour Champions, the Charles Schwab Cup playoffs are about to get underway. It's a 3-event playoff beginning with the Dominion Energy Charity Classic in Virginia. The top 72 players will tee it up this week. Then the top 54 players next week at the TimberTech Championship, followed by the top 36 at the Schwab Cup Championship in Phoenix. Stephen Ames starts the playoffs in 4th place in the standings. He joined Golf Today.
And when you win, tend to win by big margins. 4-shot win, 5-shot win, 7-shot win this year, a 6-shot win at the Players' Championship. When that is happening, are you getting the right clubs and numbers? Does the hole look like a bucket? What happens for you to win by a touchdown as often as you do?
I think you know it more than I do when you watch it. It's you got all the elements of your game playing well. You're hitting a lot of fairways, giving yourself a lot of opportunities. And, of course, the putter is obviously the denominator, to say, more than anything else, is when you're making putts. Steve Stricker wouldn't be winning 6 times out here if he wasn't making putts. And that's the reason why he's won 6 times.
Speaking of Steve Stricker, he is top of the list by a margin for the Charles Schwab Cup. You're right there at number 4, one of the very few guys who has a mathematical chance of catching him. Do you realistically think that can happen for you over the next 3 tournaments, Stephen? Or are you figuring that you're going to set other goals because he's a little bit kind of hard to catch at this stage?
That's pretty much what I've done. I've set different goals right now for myself. He's going to be very difficult to catch. He's playing the last one from what I know. The fact that his worst finish for the year has been 15 says a lot. So anything inside of top 15, top 20, he's still going to mathematically win, even if we won all 3, which again is going to be very difficult to do.
He's one of those guys who seems to defy age, as you're doing this season as well. And your driving distance out there this year, Stephen, is very similar to what it was in your prime on the PGA Tour. Is it as simple as the equipment offers you some help now that it didn't used to, or are you simply a better golfer than you were back then?
I'm better. I've learned how to maximize my club head speed with my ball and the shaft and angle of attack and all those things. In the past, I basically picked a driver that kind of put the ball in play. Today, now, I'm obviously trying to get more out of that because we've gotten older. And I've learned that through my new coach, Shaheen. And he's taught me how to be a little bit more flatter through the ball and create less spin, and the ball's going farther for me.
President's Cup next year will be in Canada. You're Canadian. Mike Weir is the captain. Do you want to have any role on that team, vice captaincy, or my goodness, if you keep winning, there's been 50-year-olds playing Ryder Cups and President's Cups before.
You know what? I'm going to leave that to the guys who have the experience in the President's Cups and the Ryder Cups. I didn't have the opportunity of playing in any of them. So I'm going to leave that to Ernie and Mike and all those guys to do the President's Cup.